This is WQXR 105.3. We will cease normal broadcasting at this time to bring you the special report from WCBS.
This is WCBS 880 AM on the radio. Here's Matt Robert.
Good evening, listeners of WCBS. I'm Matt Robert and we'll be starting off with breaking news from the White House. The president just announced today that all travel outside the United States has been prohibited until further notice. The president just said that the reason for this sudden decision was that an incident had occurred inside the Capitol to the degree where it's so bad that they have to suspend travel outside the U.S. We do not know what happened at the Capitol at this time, but here's a clip of the president's speech to the nation. Take a listen.
My fellow Americans, I hereby address the nation to make this important announcement. A short time ago, an incident had occurred in the Capitol building in the city of Washington, D.C. The incident was severe to an extent where I hereby shall address that any travel outside the United States is forbidden until further notice. Current citizens of the United States that are outside of the borders at this time have about 30 days to return to avoid a serious charge. This situation at this time must be taken very seriously. TSA and border agents will assist with the mass migration. Thank you and God bless America.
Listeners and viewers of the speech from President Hansen were extremely shocked to hear this grim announcement. It has been reported that there are protests outside the White House, mostly peaceful. The DC police have already arrived to ensure no riots occur. If any riots occur, National Guard has already made preparations for an incoming riot. They will be deploying troops the moment riots occur. It is likely that there are protests in some cities across the US, but we don't know if they will turn violent or not. Because the culprit of this situation was inside the Capitol, there are also protests near the White House wanting answers about the incident. National Guard troops were already deployed in response to the Capitol raid back in 2021. We will keep you updated as this situation develops. This is WCBS. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
When news breaks in the tri-state area or the world, you'll hear it here on WCBS New York.
And there you have it. McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. This isn't just another chicken sandwich.
There are literally people looting stores all around the city right now. Like, man, it's crazy. After when Hansen gave his speech, there were some protests that were peaceful in some areas in New York. But then soon after that, idiots used that as an excuse to start looting randomly things, smashing things, you know? We have cops looking like the military right now with their rifles and all that. Holy crap. What the hell was that? They're telling people to move back. I have to.
It seems that we have lost connection to the caller right there, so I don't think. Do we have him? No, we do not. It must be likely we have heard that police were trying to move people back. We also heard an explosion during the call, so it could be that it was used by the police to get people to back up. The NYPD is asking everyone to seek shelter immediately as these riots are very dangerous at the moment. National Guard troops should be deployed anytime at this moment. If you're joining us now, moments ago, riots have been sparking in some areas of the New York City area, mostly Manhattan and Brooklyn. NYPD has closed off all routes to these areas until further notice. It is unknown whether these riots would spread.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the New York City Police Department. At 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, riots were underway in areas around New York City. Rioters have been causing thousands of dollars in damages to homes and businesses across the city. These riots have been caused by the speech made by President Hansen yesterday. The speech has triggered protests around the city and was peaceful until riots started to break out. There have been reports of many fires across the city due to these riots. NYPD will be issuing a curfew after 6 p.m. local time. Police have been reported to fire things such as, but are not limited to, rubber bullets, paintballs, and tear gas. Exposure to tear gas can cause the following: tightness of the chest, coughing, choking, wheezing, shortness of breath, a burning sensation to the mouth, eyes, and nose, blurred vision, and difficulty swallowing. They can also cause severe symptoms like chemical burns, allergic reactions, and respiratory distress. Citizens are advised to seek shelter immediately and avoid any large gatherings. Close all windows and doors, and turn off the heating or AC to not let in any tear gas if you are near any of these riots. Ensure that your property is boarded up securely to prevent any break-ins of some sort. Stay tuned to news outlets for more information.
Fact that this is not first time the president was the cause for the riots, and actually this time was an incitement. We can possibly compare the riot incident by Donald Trump back in January 2021, where he incited his supporters to go storm the Capitol. This time, a president didn't try to incite riots, but instead it was the people's disagreement with the president instead of an incitement. So, if it were for a president to get impeached, he wouldn't be charged inciting for an insurrection, unlike what happened to Trump. If Hansen didn't get impeached, however, it is the most likely that he will get removed from office because of something like this. Chances will get higher for that if things get worse in the coming days. Literally thousands of people right now at the Capitol, and it's been 4 years since the raid back in 2021. In the response to the raid that happened back in 2021, a numerous amount of National Guard vehicles and troops are surrounding the Capitol at the moment, and they have ordered that any type of raid of any sort, they will shoot immediately. President Hansen is ensuring that nobody knows what actually happened inside the Capitol at this time. On Twitter, Cover Up and hashtag Impeach Hansen is currently trending with the record-breaking number of tweets of about 2.3 and 5.3 million tweets. Local authorities are all asking everyone to avoid the area at this time. We do not know if there will be a riot around the Capitol, but one could possibly occur at this time. Let's head over to Tim. Tim? Yeah, hello Michael. As you can see behind me that the protests here are pretty crazy right now. We do not know if they will turn violent or not. We have a plethora of National Guard troops in front of the Capitol entrance at the moment, and oh my goodness. Guys, I think we are.
The following message has been transmitted at the request of the National Guard. A mass protest is currently taking place at the United States Capitol. The protest taking place at the moment is very dangerous at this time. There are also reports of numerous riots around or near the Capitol and the White House. Thousands of dollars in damages and injuries were caused as a result. As a precaution, if you are not in the Washington, D.C. area, stay away from the area until further notice. If you are in the Washington, D.C. area, seek shelter immediately and board up all windows and doors. Do not participate in the Capitol protest or any riots around the area, or you may face arrest and serious felony charges. If you are in your shelter, do not go outside at this time. A curfew may be placed during nighttime hours anytime. Stay tuned to news outlets for more information.
We can pretty much understand the people's hurt. The fact that the strange announcement coming from the president himself and him hiding the reasoning to this stupid decision, it just mind boggles us and even probably you guys watching. What President Hansen is doing is extremely ridiculous, and if he reveals what really happened at the Capitol building, we can possibly change our minds about this sudden decision to suddenly ban travel outside the United States.
But even though this is a terrible decision, it is also a terrible decision for the people to riot and destroy property like this. We have the right to protest, but that doesn't mean that gives a right to loot stores and smash windows and things.
Mass protesting everywhere, I feel like they will not die down. Like the protests and riots are so widespread across the U.S., it's not going to die down for some time in like...
Wait a minute now. I think we are getting a report that President Hansen will be speaking. Take a listen.
My fellow Americans, I hereby address the nation to make this announcement. Situations currently in the United States have gotten worse since my other speech to the nation. The United States Capitol has not recovered from the incident and will most likely not recover at all. Because of this, the travel ban is now permanent, and nobody, I mean nobody, can travel outside the United States at all. In other words, there is no escape. The deadline for U.S. travelers outside the United States has now decreased to 10 days from now. Army troops will be sent around the world looking for any U.S. citizens. If any U.S. citizen is still outside the U.S. after 10 days, they will be willingly executed. For those who may be asking, how do I get out of this country? Well, it is simple, and I will make everything clear for how you will get out. To get out, you must kill. You must kill without getting caught. If you are found suspected, you will be sent to a courthouse near you. There will be other people that will be sent to the trials if they seem suspected. There will be about 10 to 15 people in one trial. The rules of these are pretty simple. Whenever a murder happens, people have 24 hours to gather evidence for what happened to that murder. After the 24 hours is up, suspected people will be brought to a courthouse for trial. Suspects are able to use the evidence from the people, and it will be provided to them by the judge. The Sixth Amendment, which states a right to a lawyer, will be excluded from trials. The suspects can choose whenever they want to start voting if they all agree to. If they chose the right person, that is the murderer, only the murderer will be executed. If the suspects vote incorrectly, everyone else gets executed except the murderer, which will be set free. Only 10,000 remaining people will be set free from this country. On behalf of the President of the United States of America, God bless you all, and good luck.
That was one of the most disturbing presidential speeches I have ever heard, ever. The thing with just having audio for the speech already seemed questionable, and the eeriness of the replacement background used. On top of that, the audio clip was distorted and staticky in some parts, which adds to the creepiness vibe to the speech. The speech itself was pretty much the cherry on top of the sundae. Like, you are wanting to kill people to kill each other just to be freed from this country? The president is just asking for an impeachment and even a prison sentence if he is found guilty. The speech will pretty much cause panic across the US, and this will just continue the riots, unless the president will pull a China on us and silence everyone. That is a possibility, I kid you not. I mean, what else would President Hansen do? What leader would encourage people to kill each other just to escape from his country? Who does that? North Korea traps their own people, but Kim Jong-un doesn't encourage others to just kill to seek refuge. It's an incredibly despicable abuse of power from our own president.
message has been transmitted at the request of the San Francisco Police Department. At around 11:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, SFPD has discovered 7 bodies in Point Reyes Beach. The bodies age roughly around 20s to 30s. There is a large blood pool around each of the bodies, and one seemed to look beaten. It is unknown at this time if the killer has a motive to kill others. As a precaution, SFPD is requiring all residents to stay inside until further notice. Local government has already started the investigation on to find any evidence for this murder to be used for tomorrow's trial. If you have any possible information or any evidence for the murder, please call the SFPD number at 415-553-0123. Information is needed to be able to find who is the perpetrator to avoid any innocent people being executed in the trial. SFPD is depending on top investigators and some people volunteering in the investigation to be able to save the innocent people that are put up as possible suspects. Stay tuned to news outlets for more information.
Now, since all the evidence has been presented to the 10 suspects, the suspects may begin discussing the evidence. Okay everyone, let's start discussing about the most important piece of evidence, which is the number code written in blood in one of the victim's arms. It says 11235 on it. I honestly do not know about it, but Roy, you are a pretty good programmer. Do you even know what the numbers stand for?
Well, I mean, I'm a good programmer, but I honestly do not know what they stand for. We can possibly try to find out what it means later, but let's go move on to the other pieces of evidence.
Very well then. Let's talk about how the 7 were murdered. At the scene it showed that all 7 had backstab injuries and slit throats. It is most likely that it could have been a stealth move, where they tried to sneak behind someone and then slit their throat. After that, they stabbed in the back to ensure that they were completely dead. Here, let me show you guys pictures of one of the bodies of the scene. As you can see in this picture, 3 stab wounds have been found on the back of this victim's body, which proves the backstab hypothesis. This one here shows the body flipped over and you can clearly see the slash mark on the victim's neck. One more piece of evidence shows that these bodies weren't in a group together, instead they were far apart from each other. All of these pieces of evidence link to my stealth theory.
Well, can we be sure that it's a stealth move and not just a murder spree? Let me present this piece of evidence. This photo that has been taken at the scene shows bloody footprints, is that correct?
Yes, I can see.
What if I told you that this shows that the suspect was running towards the other bodies and that they were running? You see, if they were walking, these footprints would be closer to each other, but it's not. For a sneak attack, they would have to be extremely silent and not make too much noise in order to perform sneak attacks like what you have mentioned. Because of this evidence and the explanation for this, it's safe to say this is more likely a murder spree. You might say, how would the footprints last for such long distances? Well, it's pretty much simple. This picture reveals the massive blood spatter left on the sand. Pretty much dug his own grave.
Should y'all be discussing that? Is that the only thing they did to the victims? One of the pictures show them beaten up.
You are actually right about that. The picture showing the beaten victim is one piece of proof that being knifed is not the only thing they did to them. Thing is, Tag's just one of them. Could it be that it was the first victim and then went on a stabbing spree after?
You guys can't do this to me. Why are you guys blaming me for something I didn't do? Is this how this is all gonna pay off? You guys didn't even figure out the numbers yet.
Bunch of damn losers.
He's right. We haven't figured out what the numbers mean yet. We cannot come up with a conclusion before we all agree with something and we can confirm it all.
That's something to take consider of. What do the numbers mean? The programmer in the house cannot figure it out, so what gives? This is really confusing me.
Wait, I have an idea.
What is it, Chair?
You have been looking at that quote-unquote code on one perspective. You need to try to look at things in different perspectives.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that you have to look at things differently than what they are. Try to look at it upside down. I just figured out the real meaning of those numbers.
All right. S-E-A-N Sean. All this time, that code meant Sean.
Exactly, which means we can conclude that the suspect of the crime is named Sean. The thing is, there is 3 scenes in this room. But judging from the behavior from Sean Evergreen, I have some suspicion that he was the one responsible for the entire murder. He just won't stop blurting things like it's not him.
Are you serious? Do you idiots really want to die? I don't wanna, and so does the rest of you. I will tell this again, I am not the murderer.
Well, I guess we got our answer. Your Honor, we are done with the discussion. We would like to vote. The defendants have now decided to vote and voting will start now. Defendants shall now fill out their piece of paper which is in front of them. After their paper has been filled, the defendants shall pass it over to me. The defendants have now casted their vote and will now begin the confirmation. Defendant number 1 is to count 1. Is this your verdict? Yes. Defendant number 2 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 3 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 4 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 5 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 6 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 7 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 8 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 9 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 10 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 11 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 12 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 13 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Defendant number 14 is to count 1. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Our eyes for the jury. The verdict will be read as follows. Superior Court of California, County of San Francisco. Defendants have casted their vote and verdict will be read as follows for Superior Court Case Number 11037. First degree murder, 18 U.S. Section 1111. Under the chosen vote for Mr. Evergreen, the court finds the defendant, Sean Evergreen, is to count 1 of the indictment not guilty for the murders of 7 individuals at Point Graves Beach on November 15, 2025. Under United States government regulations, the real suspect of the crime will be released and voters will be executed moments after this trial. Mr. Sean M. Jones was the perpetrator of the Point Graves murder, and according to the Fifth Amendment it states that no person shall be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Sean M. Jones will not be tried again for this type of crime. The case has been closed and the court has been dismissed.
Good job, you guys. Now we are going to get killed because of your incompetence. Way to go. I hate you all. I hate you all.
Please take them to the death chamber.
I want to thank everyone for their consideration with the trial. Unfortunately, it didn't go too well for the innocent, but it is to follow the government regulations. Again, Thanks for your time and everyone knowing you. You may go through the door over there.
And the trial concludes right there. This is very shocking news to hear, not just from the studio here in San Francisco, but for the people of San Francisco to hear this verdict that the voters or the defendants trying to vote for who is the murderer has voted wrong, and now they have to be executed and the killer will be released. This new regulation from the president is extremely shocking, and the past events that occurred is pretty much puts a stain to America's reputation. I don't know, but like the country is going to go downhill from here pretty much. We're going to see more stuff like this in the future. Alright, we will be back with the commercial break. Stay tuned.
There's a certain magic in first times, don't you think? Every adventure begins with the first step.
Action adventure.
Sort of. Alright, picture this. We open on you. You're driving in a beautiful car up a snowy mountain road. You're going
200 miles an hour?
No, 30. You look up in the trees and you see?
Sniper.
No.
This message is transmitted at the request of the Austin Police Department and Homeland Security. A shooting is currently taking place in a small bridge on I-35 in Austin. Several injuries have been reported as a result. The shooter is currently at large and extremely dangerous at this time. It isn't known on what the suspect looks like. Police are heading towards the scene to de-escalate the situation. All residents in the Austin, Texas area are advised to stay away from the area until further notice. A section of I-35 has been closed in order for law enforcement to approach and surround the suspect. Major traffic jams are expected for the night due to the closure. If you need to get to another destination, use detours and alternate routes to go around the closure. Officials will be assigning citizens to different routes. Stay tuned to news outlets for more information.
What's up, world? Yeah, you. I'm Travis Scott. This is my McDonald's order. Follow me. Here's my quarter pounder with lettuce, pickles, onions.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Good evening, viewers, and thank you for tuning in to CNN. We will be starting with the breaking news from Austin. A mass shooting had took place on a bridge on I-35, causing mass casualties and injuries. As of now, it has been reported that there were 45 deaths and 60 injuries from this mass shooting, which is a devastating loss for not only the families but the city of Austin, which is the worst mass shooting Austin has ever seen. It is unknown whether the suspect has been caught, but as of now the suspect is at large and extremely dangerous. Austin officials have declared a state of emergency and requiring everyone to seek shelter immediately. Mass backups have also been reported not only on I-35 but surrounding detours from people trying to go around. Let's go ahead and speak to one of the witnesses of this shooting. Tim.
Hello there.
Hello, you Olive. So what are your thoughts on the current situation at this time?
Well, really, for starters, this is a massive shock to the city of Austin. This was an unprecedented attack in many proportions. and the fact that there have been a lot of deaths and injuries in this attack is extremely sad and shocking.
Were you able to hear anything?
Well, I live near this passage, and I was outside walking, and all of a sudden I just heard multiple pops and my instinct knew that it was gunshots, so I ran as fast as I can to my home and hid for a while. I even was able to hear the gunshots in my home.
How long did you think it lasted?
Well, I was about 10 minutes away from my house during the shootings, so I believe the shooting lasted for around 10 minutes. Honestly, I feel like it lasted a bit longer than that because of the amount of deaths and injuries this shooting caused and that I was still hearing gunshots inside my house.
The deaths and injuries could not be enough, and there probably will be more as the death and injury count is being counted at this time, and there could possibly be more in the future. Anyways, speaking of that, how did you feel when the injury and death counts were first reported at this time?
I'm really shocked, honestly, the fact that the shooter was able to kill and injure this many people in a short time span. Well, it was kinda expected, the fact that this occurred on a busy interstate, where the shooter was most likely to stop cars and have a barrage of bullets just flying at drivers. It is a really scary and unthinkable situation to think about.
Well, thanks for your time talking to us. Have a great day.
You too.
I apologize, but I do have to interrupt. We're getting reports now by the Austin Police Department that there have been multiple home invasions at this time. Now, this is the only source we have currently, so we might have to wait for witness accounts later, but we are going to tell you now that we have reports of home invasions. A PD is stating that the locations of the home invasions are in Travis Heights, which is a small neighborhood near the I-35 bridge. This is extremely concerning, the fact that we don't know if the person that committed these home invasions was the same person that committed the shooting an hour ago. Again, we're going to wait for any confirmations and later information regarding these series of incidents. A PD is requesting everyone in a close radius near I-35 and Travis Heights to stay indoors at this time. The APD have been issuing curfews and stay
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Austin Police Department. At 9:05 p.m. Central Standard Time, a shooting was reported on the Interstate 35 bridge in Austin. Multiple deaths and injuries were caused as a result. There were also reports of home invasions in Travis Heights, a small neighborhood near the I-35 bridge. It is unknown whether the perpetrator is the shooter or not. The Austin Police Department is requiring everyone, except volunteers for the investigation, in a close radius with the I-35 bridge in Travis Heights, to stay indoors and lock all doors until further notice. The suspect at this time is at large and extremely dangerous at this time. If you see any suspicious activity with your or any home near you, report to APD immediately. For volunteers for the investigation, be on the lookout for any suspicious activity on the I-35 bridge or Travis Heights or any nearby neighborhood. A physical description cannot be determined at this time. A PD is wanting anyone that has information regarding these incidents to call APD at 512-974-5000. Information is needed to prevent innocent people executed in tomorrow's trial. The emergency alert system has been activated to keep you informed. Stay tuned to news outlets for more information.
Series of events is extremely concerning.
Let's not forget the fact that the worst part is to come, which is the trial for these incidents tomorrow. So far we have little to no evidence for these murders, which is very worrying. We could have innocent people killed over something that they didn't do.
Absolutely. We might have possible suspects tomorrow morning or afternoon, but for right now it isn't looking good. For the viewers out there, please, if you have the bravery and the time to do so, go out there and start investigating and gathering any evidence you have. Our future defendants are at risk.
Superior County in Texas, County of Travis. Defendants have casted their vote and the verdict will be read as follows for Superior Court Case number 19346-515. First-degree murder, 18 U.S. Section 1111. Under the chosen vote for Ms. Karimi, the court finds the defendant, Clara Karimi, as to count 1 on.
This is KLBJ on 590 AM. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. This is KLBJ on 590 AM. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. This is KLBJ on 590 AM. We are currently experiencing
Good evening, listeners of KLBJ. I am Longley going to report on the breaking news tonight. Just recently in the Travis County Courthouse, an unexpected and tragic incident has occurred, something we never wanted to see. Someone has barged into the courtroom and fired a few shots, and as we just have learned, one of the shots have hit the judge on the head, instantly killing them. This is extremely shocking news, and more unfortunate news during the President Hansen crisis, and more worse things are expected to happen in the future. We are unsure what will happen to the trial, but as we were told, the suspects of the crime have been taken out of the courtroom away, and one or two things will happen. One, they will be awaiting for a trial reschedule, or two, in these unfortunate times, they will all be executed under the killing game rules. In these unfortunate times, number two will be likely.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, Tom Youngs.
Good evening on ABC News. I am Tom, starting with the breaking news tonight. Studies have shown that the homicide rates in the U.S. has jumped because of the recent murder regulation announced by President Hansen. The first speech caused widespread protests all around the country and mass controversy from this decision. The second speech startled the entire country and even some parts of the world. Because this is a history-making decision that started from something that is being covered up by the president himself. As of today, about 1,304 murders have been recorded all around the U.S., which is an astonishing number of victims recorded. This is devastating news, and all this started from our own government. We have seen worse governments in the world before, but not at the level like this.